Hello. So we'll continue with Julius Caesar. We're on page 149, where Brutus and Cassius are speaking to each other, and they're on the field at Sardis. So Brutus tells Cassius, "Let us not wrangle." Wrangle means quarrel. So Brutus has some complaint and against Cassius. So instead of quarreling in front of the soldiers, in front of their armies, Brutus tells Cassius, bid them move away, let the armies move away. Then in my tent, Cassius, enlarge your griefs, and I will give you audience. So Brutus tells Cassius that they can speak about their griefs, about their problems in Brutus's tent, and Brutus will listen to him. Cassius, Pindarus bid our commanders lead their charges off a little from this ground. So Cassius tells his servant Pindarus to lead his armies, Cassius's armies, off a little away from that ground. Uh, Brutus tells his servant Lucius, Lucius, do you the like, and let no man come to our tent till we have done our conference. So Brutus tells Lucius to tell his Brutus's armies to move off a little, and no one should interrupt them. Let Lucilius and Titanius guard our door. So all but Brutus and Cassius exit. Now we're on scene 3. Cassius tells Brutus, that you have wronged me doth appear in this. You have condemned and noted Lucius Pella for taking bribes here of the Sardians, wherein my letters praying on his side because I knew the man was slighted off. So Cassius tells Brutus that Brutus has wronged him because there is a man called Lucius Pella whom Brutus has condemned and imprisoned because Lucius Pella had taken bribes of the natives of Sardis, the Sardians. So Cassius had written on behalf of Lucius Pella asking Brutus to free him. So Brutus did not take any note of Cassius's request. Brutus says, you wronged yourself to write in such a case. So Brutus tells Cassius that, after all, Lucius Pella is a corrupt official, so he should not support corrupt officials, and Cassius has wronged himself to plead on Lucius Pella's behalf. Cassius, in such a time as this, it is not meet that every nice offense should bear his comment. So Cassius says, in such a time as this, that is, it's wartime, it is not meet, it is not suitable during wartime that every small misdemeanor, every small offense should be punished or should be noted. Brutus says, let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itching palm, to sell and mart your offices for gold to undeservers. So Brutus tells Cassius that Cassius himself has a reputation for having an itching palm. Itching palm means it's an idiom for being corrupt. And what Cassius has done is he has sold, places in his army, places, ranks of officers have bought the rank, have become officers because they paid Cassius money. He has sold and marketed his army for gold, and those men do not deserve that place. Cassius is offended, and he says, I, an itching palm, you accuse me of being corrupt? You know that you are Brutus that speaks this, or by the gods, this speech were else your last. So Cassius says, it's only the fact that he is Brutus that saves him. If it were anybody else who had said that Cassius was corrupt, Cassius had an itching palm, then that speech would be his last. Brutus, the name of Cassius, honors this corruption, and chastisement doth therefore hide his head. So Brutus says, it's only because Cassius and none other is spoken about in this corruption that chastisement, that is punishment, is not given. Cassius, chastisement, you mean you will punish me So Brutus says, remember March, the Ides of March remember. Did not great Julius bleed for justice' sake? What villain touched his body that did stab and not for justice? So Brutus tells Cassius, he asks Cassius to remember the Ides of March, that is the 15th of March, on which they assassinated Julius Caesar. So Julius bled for the sake of justice, and all the conspirators, uh, all the villains that did stab Caesar repeatedly, they stabbed him for the sake of justice. So they wanted justice, they wanted honor, Rome's honor, the Republic of Rome's honor to be brought back. So Julius had to die. What shall one of us that struck the foremost man of this world, but for supporting robbers, shall we now uh, contaminate our fingers with base bribes and sell the mighty space of our large honors for so much trash as may be grasped thus? So he says, shall one of them, that is one of the conspirators, there were a group, shall one of the conspirators, that is Cassius himself, Brutus himself, all of them who struck down the foremost man of all this world, the most important man of the world, that is Julius Caesar, because he supported robbers. Uh, so, because because of that, he asks, shall we now contaminate, that is, make the fingers diseased with bribes by taking bribes, base bribes, low bribes, and sell the places in the army, sell places in the army for so much trash. He calls gold, money, as he refers to money as trash, which may be held or grasped in one palm. And he says, I'd rather be a dog and bathe the moon than such a Roman. So he says he'd rather be a dog and, howl at the moon than a Roman who is corrupt. Cassius says, Brutus, bait not me, I'll not endure it. You forget yourself to hedge me in. So Cassius says that Brutus is baiting him. Baiting means it's an ancient sport in which a bear is tied to a piece of wood stuck into the ground, and dogs are allowed to bite it when and wherever they want. So that is bear baiting. So Cassius is saying that Brutus is baiting him by talking like that. And he says he will not be patient, he will not endure such talk. And he says to Brutus, you forget yourself to hedge me in. So he's forgetting, Brutus is, is behaving too freely to test Cassius's patience. And Cassius says, I am a soldier, I older in practice, abler than yourself to make conditions. So Cassius says that he himself is a soldier. He's seen many more battles than Brutus, and is more capable than Brutus. So he knows how to make conditions during wartime. So he's justifying the fact that he's allowing Lucius Pella to take bribes. Brutus, go to, you are not Cassius. So Brutus says that Cassius is not an abler, an older and more experienced soldier than he himself is. Cassius says, I am. Brutus says, I say you are not. Cassius says, urge me no more. So Cassius is rapidly losing his patience and says, I shall forget myself. So he'll forget himself in the rage that is overtaking him, and he might almost attack Brutus. Have mind upon your health, tempt me no further. So Cassius asks Brutus to, have care upon his health, because Cassius may do him violence, and he asks Brutus not to tempt him any further. Brutus, very slight man. So Brutus says that Cassius is a small, insignificant man. Cassius, is it possible? So Cassius he can hardly control himself. Brutus says, "Hear me, for I will speak. Must I give way and room to your rash choler? Shall I be frightened when a madman stares?" So Brutus says, must he make way and give space to Cassius's rash choler, that is his anger, and he asks whether if he should be frightened when someone who's mad stares at him. Cassius, "Oh, you gods, must I endure all this?" So Cassius says, "How can he bear all these insults?" Brutus, "All this I more. Fret till your proud heart break. Go show your slaves how choleric you are, and make your bondmen tremble." So Brutus says, you can become as frustrated, so frustrated till your heart breaks, till the choler, till your anger produces you know, some hormones in your blood that will make you have a heart attack. So he's asked Cassius to show his slaves how angry he can be, and he can make his bondmen tremble. "Must I budge?" he asked. So he says, "Must I listen to this? Listen to you, Cassius? Must I observe you? Must I stand and crouch under your testy humor?" So Brutus asks if he must bend low and be patient with Cassius's testy humor, his anger. "By the gods, you shall digest the venom of his spleen, though it do split you." So Brutus says that Cassius's anger is so great, he's become so great that he will secrete poison in his blood, and that poison can split him in half. So he says that he won't back down from his claim, and he continues, "For from this day forth I'll use you for my mirth, yea, for my laughter when you are waspish." So Brutus says that from then on, from that day on, he'll use Cassius as a joke, he'll use Cassius as a clown when Cassius is waspish or angry. Uh, so Cassius, does it come to this? So Cassius gives up, and in a moment of he almost collapses, and he says, "No, once we were good friends, once we were close, once we did so many great things together, and now it's come to this." Buddha says, "You say you're a better soldier. Let it appear so. Make your vaunting true, and it shall please me well. For mine own part, I shall be glad to learn of noblemen." So Brutus says that Cassius has said that he is a better soldier. So let him show it. He says. He asks Cassius to make his vaunting come true, make his boasting come true. That is, he wants Cassius to attack him, and Brutus will be pleased. It will make him happy to fight Cassius. So he says that as far as he himself is concerned, he shall be glad to learn of noblemen. Cassius, "You wrong me every way. You wrong me, Brutus. I said an elder soldier, not a better. Did I say better?" So Cassius says that he did not say that he was a better soldier. He said he was an older and a much more experienced soldier. Brutus, "If you did, I care not." Cassius, "When Caesar lived, he does not have moved me." So Cassius says that when Caesar was living, he would not dare to tempt Cassius in the way that Brutus has tempted him. Brutus, "Peace, peace, you does not so have tempted him." So Brutus says, ask Cassius to calm down. He would not have tempted Caesar to talk like that. Cassius, "I durst not." Cassius says, "You think I'm not brave enough to talk like this, like to Caesar, talk back to Caesar?" Brutus, "No." "Or durst not tempt him?" You say, "I dare not tempt him." So Brutus, "For your life you durst not." Cassius, "Do not presume too much upon my love. I may do that, I shall be sorry for." So Cassius says, he tells Brutus not to think too much upon their friendship, not to place too great an emphasis on friendship, because he may so shortly do that he will be sorry about later. That is, he'll attack Brutus. Brutus, you have done that you should be sorry for. There is no terror, Cassius, in your threats. So Brutus says, by supporting corrupt of people, Cassius has already done something he should be apologetic about, he should be sorry for. And he says that in Cassius's threats there is no terror or fear. For I am armed so strong in honesty that they pass me by as the idle wind, which I respect not. So he says all Cassius's threats are like the idle winds which Brutus doesn't mind, because he is so honest. I did send to you for certain sums of gold which you denied me, for I can raise no money by vile means. So Brutus says that he had asked Cassius for some money, for certain sums of gold, and Cassius had denied him. And Brutus did not want to take bribes and raise money, and he says, by heaven, I had rather coin my heart and drop my blood for drachmas than to wring from the hard hearts or hands of peasants the wild trash by any indirection. So he says, he swears upon heaven, he swears upon God, that he would rather make his heart into a coin and shed blood for drachmas. Drachmas are gold coins, and he would rather make himself into drachmas than to take bribes of peasants who have worked hard. They have plowed the fields, they have done all the work, manual labor, and to take their wild trash, to take their gold, he would not stoop to such a level. I did send to you for gold to pay my legions, which you denied me. So Brutus asked Cassius for gold to pay his legions. Legions are the armies of Brutus. And Cassius had denied him. Cassius had said no. Was that done like Cassius? So was that the Cassius he knew about? Should I have answered Caius Cassius so? When Marcus Brutus grows so covetous to lock such rascal counters from his friends, be ready, gods, with all your thunderbolts to dash him to pieces. So Brutus says, when Brutus grows so covetous, if he were to grow so greedy as to keep such rascal counters are the coins which move from hand to hand, from territory to territory. So if he were to keep such coins, drachmas, keep drachmas from his friends, he asked the gods with all their weapons, the thunderbolts, to dash him to pieces. Cassius says, I denied you not. So Cassius says, I did not say no to your request. And Brutus says, you did. Cassius says, I did not. He was but a fool that brought my answer back. So Cassius says, the messenger that brought his answer back had misinterpreted his message to Brutus, and Brutus thought that Cassius was denying him the gold to pay his legions. Brutus hath ripped my heart. So Brutus has actually split Cassius's mind open into two, and he says a friend should bear his friend's infirmities, but Brutus makes mine greater than they are. So Cassius says that as a friend, Brutus should have borne his weaknesses, his infirmities, but Brutus has made his weaknesses much greater than they are. Brutus says, I do not till you practice them. So Cassius, you love me not. Brutus, I do not like your faults. So Cassius, a friendly eye could never see such faults. So Cassius says, if you were really friendly with me, then you would not have thought that I would deny you the money to pay your legions. So Brutus says, the flatterers would not, though they do appear as high as huge Olympus. So Brutus says, if he were to be a flatterer, if you were to praise Cassius, even though he denied him an important resource, if he were to be a flatterer and praise Cassius, then that would not appear a fault. So Cassius, come Antony and young Octavius, come, revenge yourself alone on Cassius. For Cassius is weary of the world, hated by one he loves, prayed by his brother. So Cassius asks, he wishes that and Mark Antony and Octavius Caesar would come and revenge themselves on Cassius only, for he is weary, he is tired of the world, he is hated by the one he loves, he is hated by Brutus, braved by his brother, checked like a bondman, all his faults observed, set in a notebook, learned and conned by rote to cast into my teeth. So he says that all his faults have been observed, they've been listed in a notebook, they've been memorized, they've been conned by rote, and now they're being cast into his teeth. They're being openly thrown into his face. Oh, I could weep my spirit from mine eyes, there is my dagger. So he says he could weep till the spirit left him. So he says to Brutus, there is my dagger. He offers his dagger or knife to Brutus, and here my naked breast, within the heart dearer than Pluto's mind, richer than gold. If thou beest a Roman, take it forth. So, and he offers Brutus his dagger, and he opens his shirt or doublet and shows him his bare chest, and says that within there was a heart which was dearer than Pluto's mind. So Pluto was the king of the underworld. The underworld is the place where all the gold, diamonds, silver, precious stones are found. So that heart of Cassius loves Brutus. It's more valuable than Pluto's mind. It's richer than gold. And he tells Brutus, if you be a Roman, take out my heart. I that denied the gold will give my heart. So Cassius says, you say that I denied you the gold to pay your allegiance, and now give you my heart. Strike as thou didst at Caesar, for I know when thou didst hate him worse, thou lovest him better than ever loved Cassius. So he asked Brutus to strike as Brutus struck Caesar, as Brutus stabbed Caesar, because he says that at his worst, when he was stabbing Caesar, he loved Caesar than he ever loved Cassius. Brutus, sheathe your dagger, be angry when you will, it will have scope. So Brutus asked Brutus to put his dagger or knife back into the cover, and he tells Cassius, if in the future he can be angry with Brutus whenever he wants, and Brutus will humor it. Do what you will, dishonor shall be humored. O Cassius, you are yoked with the lamb that carries anger as a flint bears fire, who much in force shows a hasty spark and straight is courtly. So Brutus says that Cassius is joined or yoked with a lamb. That is, he refers to himself as a lamb, an innocent lamb. And he says that in his heart, his anger is like flintstone. So the flintstone is struck repeatedly to produce sparks, which are then used to light a fire. So he says his mind is like that of a flintstone, and just as the flintstone delivers fire when it is struck, so Brutus, when he is forced to, will become angry. But just as the flintstone again becomes cold as soon as the sparks have flown from it, Brutus says that he is also like the flintstone, and he will be cold as soon as he has displayed his anger.